Aha, we are live. Cool. I'll just see if anyone joins us. See if I see any eyes on the screen once it gets out there. And actually, if someone's watching this on catch up, I won't wait too long, otherwise they'll have to fast forward. But hello, tribe. I am here today with James, who is the editor of Cool Camping. So thank you so much for joining our community today. Really grateful to have you in the group. Feel free, if you're watching, to ask any questions as we go along. There is a little link that you can click, which is the StreamYard link, which means I can see your name and I can share the question that you've asked. But if you don't want to use that, then no problem, you can post anonymously, that's fine. And if you're watching this on catch up, then please ask any questions. I'm sure you won't mind if I gather them up and send them to you afterwards, will you, James?
Yeah, no, go for it.
Cool. So let's start off talking about what is Cool Camping, because you've been there and seen it grown quite considerably in the last 7 years. So let's just have an overview of what it is, what you do, and also how it's great for families.
Yeah, right. So I mean, in short, Cool Camping and coolcamping.com, which is our website, is a website that helps people find and book the best camping and glamping experiences in the UK and also in France and in some of Europe. It started off as a guidebook series. So more than 10 years ago now, we went around the UK or went around England, camping all over England, and then put together a selection of, I think the first book was just 50 or 60 of our favourite campsites in England. And that was published back in 2006, I think. And that spawned a whole series of guidebooks. And so we've just published our most recent one, which is Cool Camping Britain. Okay. And this is the third edition of the Cool Camping Britain book. So it's gone through, various stages, various years where we've brought these books out. And the idea is that it's not just an A to Z of kind of all the campsites in England or in Britain, but we give kind of full page images. I'm getting confused by the back to front camera.
Don't worry.
And yeah, a big full description of the campsite and images and really give you a feel for the place.
You've got a kids book as well, haven't you?
Yes, so we got Cool Camping Kids, which is it's on my book behind us. Here we go. Cool Camping Kids.
And also, can you still hear me?
Cool Camping Kids.
Yay!
Yeah, a big range of guidebooks. So Cool Camping Kids is our family guidebook. This is a lovely campsite on the cover, which is called Botany Campsite, or Botany Camping rather, in Wiltshire. Really nice place, right next to Longleat Safari Park. And the owner, the guy called Crispin. He's really nice, and I think if you book Longleat Safari Park trips with him, you get a discount, like 30% off or something like that. Ooh. So it's a good family site. Loads of family sites in that guidebook. This is one of my favourites as well, is the Cool Camping Coast guidebook, which is obviously all the campsites in here are a mile from the beach. So yeah, we're kind of about finding kind of off-grid campsites, back to basics campsites, places that are great for tent camping. So not big commercial holiday parks, but places where you're going to go, you're going to be able to have a campfire, good view, stuff like that. But then all of that information, when the internet kind of took off, because when it all started, it was before those kind of big days. We put all that info online because that's where people go now to find and search for holidays. So our website is of a similar style. It's a curated collection of campsites and glamping sites as well. And you can find the sites there and book your holiday on the website as well.
Because it's not just about, like you said, the tent camping, isn't it? If tent camping isn't for you, then you've got an amazing array of tree houses and like really beautiful glamping places with hot tubs and adult only ones.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, hot tubs is a hot one. It's one of our most searched things on our website is hot tubs. Yeah, people love campsites with hot tubs. But yeah, there's lots of other things on there as well. So yeah, like you say, tree houses and things like that. So they're all kind of outdoor experiences. And the main focus for us is that they're all kind of smaller independent businesses, where you might kind of meet the owner and get that really personal experience at each place.
Yeah, I stayed on one last year actually, on the Downs, and it had a lovely farm that I could take my son into, and they were such nice owners, and it was quite small, and that's what I liked about it actually, because I didn't want to be there that was huge and sprawling. But yeah, really nice experience, personal experience, I guess, really.
Yeah.
And we're a travel group. We normally have thousands and thousands of questions about travel, and over the last couple of months it's died down because it's been such a grey area at the moment, so the travel industry is suffering. But I've noticed in the last few weeks we've had so many questions about campsites and the best campsites, and one thing I wanted to talk about was what is actually happening on campsites with your partners due to new government guidelines. Because I think you've addressed it really well, haven't you? It's one of the first things that's highlighted when you go on the website. So how have you been working with your partners, and what have you put in place? I know in terms of your booking guarantees, or it's like a insurance, isn't it? So tell us about that and what we can expect to see when we go camping this year.
Yeah. So early on, we tried to kind of really kind of take the bull by the horns with it all and be proactive, even before we kind of found out exactly what the measures and things would be. And most of these campsites were the same. You know, they missed the Easter bank holiday weekend, the May bank holiday weekends, which are really important times for kind of campsites and these businesses. So they've been working hard all through the lockdown period to kind of make sure that when they're allowed to open, they've got things in place to be safe, even before the kind of official guidelines were announced. So lots of sites have got some of them have reduced their capacity so that there's more space on the campsite, so everyone can be a lot more spread out, and things like that. Some sites have gone as far as investing in additional toilets, and getting in more portable toilets and things like that, so that there's much more to go around for everyone. So there's lots of changes that people are making. There are things in the legislation is a lot of it is about ventilating the kind of shared facilities, as well as making sure they're really well cleaned. So having kind of opening up the fire exit if there's a fire exit, and having like a one-way system, and also having showers that are in kind of bubbles. So when you get to a campsite this year, what will be really common is that you'll be told this is the shower cubicle for your booking, and for the whole week that's the shower cubicle that you'll be using. And the idea is that then each shower is divided up into these people using this one, so there's not as much kind of mixing and things like that.
Oh, interesting.
So there's loads of things that are kind of being done, and some things that you kind of probably won't even be aware of when you're on the site. In terms of
sorry,
no, go on.
I was going to say, I noticed on your website you can actually search for campsites that have 10 meters 10 meters apart for all of their pitches, so it means you have loads more space and it's easier to social distance.
Yeah, that's right. So we've got a lot of different things on the website. So as you said at the beginning, we're operating a coronavirus booking guarantee. So if someone books a campsite with that guarantee, they only pay 20% when they make their reservation, and the rest you only pay 10 days before your holiday. And if you can't go because of a local lockdown like we've seen in Leicester and things like that, then you can rearrange your holiday for up to 18 months. And because you've only paid 20%, you're not no one's holding on to loads of your cash. So we're trying to kind of make sure that things are really flexible for customers as well as the business owners. And like I say, this week we've seen that working really well. So there's been people in Leicester that have booked holidays. They can't go now, unfortunately, but they're able to just kind of rearrange really easily. So yeah, we've got policies like that in place, and we're highlighting just on our homepage, but around our website, campsites that have social distancing measures in place. So now when you read the description of the campsite, if you scroll a bit further down the page, there's also a heading that says social distancing measures, and it will give the owner a space to say, this is what we're doing this year, and this is how things are a bit different. So we're trying to kind of highlight and give as much kind of information on that as possible. It's difficult because everything's changing so quickly, and it's also crazy that we have these different situations in Scotland and in Wales and in England. So right now you can go camping in England, but you can't go in Scotland. And in Wales, we're still kind of waiting for a date for kind of campsites to open.
I'm desperate for that date. Did you mention that, when we had a chat yesterday, that it might be released today? The camping.
Yeah, fingers crossed. So today they're kind of confirming, I think, what's going on with accommodation. So at the moment, self-contained accommodation in Wales is set to reopen from the 13th. So that's things like B&Bs and things where you've got, ensuite bathrooms and things like that. And it will include caravans and camper vans where you've got your own facilities in there with you. So a lot of campsites in Wales at the moment are set to open for caravans and camper vans so that people can come along and stay in their unit. But for tent campers that want to share facilities, we're still waiting for a date in Wales as to when they can open. We're hoping that when they confirm the other stuff, they're also going to potentially give a date for camping, but it's anyone's guess at this stage.
I know, I'm desperate because I'm hoping to go in August. I'm just waiting.
Is there somewhere in particular you want to go?
Well, yeah, Gower. In Gower, they've got a lovely campsite on called Hill End Campsite, which is right on the beach, Llangennith. It's so lovely. But and I went there last year. They don't take bookings, so that's one of my worries, because you have to chance it and drive 3 hours and then hope that they've got space. But it's just a really great campsite. Although they have got like an adventure playground on there, but I'm not sure whether that'll be open.
You're kind of in amongst the dunes. Is that right?
Yeah,
I know it. Yeah. Lovely.
Great site, love it. I had some questions which were sent in advance, actually. So if you don't mind answering them. Actually, Alice asks, what criteria do campsites have to fulfill to partner with you? Because I know we've said that they're quite quirky. So is there a certain type that you would accept or go for?
Yeah, good question. I mean, the simple answer is no, really. There's not like a specific criteria, partly because it's by having criteria that you end up getting too stuck with needing certain things and being a certain way. And that's not really what we want. We want to have places that are very different, and just places that kind of fit with the ethos of what we do, and that are kind of good independent businesses where you can go stay with your tent and have a great time. Certainly there are kind of things we look out for. We love campsites with campfires and things like that. And people love having a campfire. But yeah, it's not a case where in many places actually where you have kind of a star system, like 4-star, 5-star site. It's actually, to be a 5-star site, you need to have a swimming pool and a restaurant and all this kind of thing. And in many ways, we're kind of the opposite of that. We're trying to get away from having kind of tick boxes and criteria, and we're looking for something. So it can range from a really back to basics kind of off-grid campsite, like I say, that allows campfires, to something that's glamping and really luxurious. But the main thing for us is just I guess it's more about being what you're not, not being kind of part of a big holiday chain that's all around the UK where you can go and you're going to have kind of a similar setup wherever you go. We're looking for places that kind of offer something a little bit unique and special.
Yeah, you've got some great sites. I've booked to go on Sunday to Rutland to go camping in Cuckoo Campsite, which I had a look yesterday on their website, which is it was on your website, because they've got, they do like a farm tour for the kids at 11 o'clock.
Yeah. And I hope, I'm sure if you've seen the website, they still are. I hope that, I hope all these sites are kind of doing these things this year and people are still able to go have these little experiences. It's always worth checking, and that's just for everyone. It's definitely worth kind of double checking when there's little things going on that they're still going ahead this year, because there's obviously some changes. But yeah, that Rutland site. So I went there last year, and it is it's such a nice place. And you go down this kind of steep track into it, and you're in a little kind of valley bottom by yourselves. And it's got the sheep that they have there have like this super curly fur. They're a unique type of sheep. I don't know what they are, but they're really cool. And they've got deer. They actually have kind of deer that I think they farm for venison. So they have some little young deer there. And there's a little river running through. It's a really nice little site, and the chap that runs it is lovely. And yeah, it's a good family spot as well. I booked that with a group of with a group of friends and no kind of kids or anything, and we got kind of a check over before we completed our booking that we weren't kind of going to come and be too noisy or anything. So they definitely look out for families.
Ruin the peace.
Yeah, that's it.
Have you noticed the last few weeks, as travel's been so uncertain, have you noticed an influx of inquiries about camping? Do you think families particularly are more open to going camping because of being outdoors and staying like domestic travel? Because I did a survey in the group actually recently, and a lot of people do want to stay domestically.
Yeah, oh yeah, totally. I mean, our kind of traffic on our website is through the roof compared to other years. You know, we're up kind of, you know, at least 4 times what we are, you know, the same time last year. So there's a real rush for people to kind of go camping, and we've also seen the same slightly this week with bookings in France. So since they announced that the corridors might be this air corridor opening next week, so there is a bit more interest now in going to France and places like that. But really, for timing, you know, a lot of people, when they go to France, usually plan it quite a while in advance. This year, things are all a lot more last minute. So there's a lot more people looking to go camping in the UK. Anecdotally, I think there's also a lot more first-time campers. So we're getting a lot of inquiries from people that haven't been camping before, and they're saying, you know, do I need to bring this? Do I need to bring that? I've not kind of been away before. So, you know, and I'm hopeful that those people will kind of go and have a great time and become, you know, a part of the camping community that might not have maybe done before. So yeah, I think people are looking that bit more to the countryside this summer because they want to be obviously outside in space and things like that. So it's got a lot more appeal for sure.
We had a question from Nick, who asked, will you be expanding into more European countries? Because I noticed you're spreading out a bit and you have got those sites in different locations now. So is that something you're going to be focusing on?
Yeah, fingers crossed. You know, again, so much stuff is just kind of a bit up in the air at the moment. And our plan actually, quite kind of topically for this group, was to do a family guidebook for France. So we'd be working on that kind of now when we go to sites and things like that, and publishing that for next spring. But you know, whether or not there's necessarily the appetite for that book, and also whether or not we're able to kind of sort it out this summer, kind of remains to be seen at this stage. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but certainly kind of more generally, we definitely want to cover France a lot better. I mean, there's a lot more we can still do in Britain and France, but and in particular, I'd like to, you know, we don't really cover Ireland and Northern Ireland that well at the moment, even though we do well for England, Wales, and Scotland. So it'd be great for us to get over there and cover that area a bit better.
Awesome. And one last question for you: do you have a favourite campsite? I always like, because our travel is all about sharing our own personal recommendations, so we can't let you go without finding out where your favourite campsite is.
Yeah, do I have? I mean, I can't pick a favourite, one favourite. There's just so many great sites. I mean, I have a flick through here, but there's, I mean, part of what's great about it is, and especially going to kind of, you know, some of these independent places that we recommend, is that there is so much variety. I'm quite a fan of more kind of back to basics kind of camping, something similar to wild camping. And I had a lovely trip in Scotland last year, and there were some great sites on the Isle of Mull and near Glencoe. There's a great site there called Red Squirrel Campsite, which is just kind of, I don't know, there's something really special. Again, it's by a river. I'm definitely drawn to riverside sites and waterside sites. I love that kind of thing. Yes. So yeah, and even near, so I live in Norfolk, and there's some great sites near me. There's one just down the road here called Canal Camping, which I highly recommend. That's another one that's kind of off grid, but they have gas powered showers and things like that.
Oh yeah.
But there's also certain kind of style of campsite that I like. So I love, there's a real, and it's growing at the moment, these campsites that have like a big wildflower meadow, and instead of mowing it all and saying, you know, pitch where you like, they'll mow a neat little kind of track through the middle, and then they'll mow some little circular pitches within the long grass, and you kind of find your pitch and you bed down, and there's all this grass around you, and it's great for kids. They can run around playing hide and seek and things. And those kind of sites are are fantastic. And actually, I did, because they're good for spacing out as well, so for social distancing things, we did a blog about that on Cool Camping a couple of weeks ago, I think. So if you were to Google campsites with wildlife corridors, because that's what they were referring to them in the newspapers, a wildlife corridor. So if you Google camping with wildlife corridors, you'll probably find a list of kind of, I don't know, 10 or 15 of my favorites of those. And yeah, they're great campsites. So there's quite a few of those.
Oh, I'll dig that article out and I'll share that then with everybody. So that sounds
yeah, I can send it to you for sure.
Yeah, I saw some photos on the website actually. They've obviously been taken by a drone, but it looks really cool actually because it gives you your own little garden, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So some of the ones, just to kind of list a few for people if they want to stick them in Google, there's Cowpots Camping is the one that's got these lovely aerial photos, and that's in Wales. The Secret Campsite in Sussex, Wardley Hill Campsite, and Birds and Bees Campsite are in East Anglia. One's in Norfolk, one's in Suffolk. Where else is like that on the list? I'm trying to think. Prezelli Glamping in Pembrokeshire. It's called Prezelli Glamping, but they have camping in these kind of pitches. So yeah, loads of places like that.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talking to us today.
You're very welcome.
It's been great, and loads of insight into what's going to happen. So I will share those articles into the group, and if we have any questions, if people are watching this on catch up, then I will ping them over to you. So
yeah, feel free to do that for sure.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.